Okay. Well, first things first. Let's go see... I've got some bad news about the mayor. Oh, I can talk to him about a lot of things. Well, first of all, I've gotten word of Niam's location. She's on the Isle of the Sun. Well, that's good to know. I hope she's okay. And about the foreclosure and, the mayor. That's frustrating. I should have known, I really should have. You read about this kind of thing in books, but you never expect it'll happen to you. Well, we're not going to give up, are we? Since we can't get a meaningful answer from Penglog, let's ask someone who may know what we can do in this situation. Go to the Isle of the Sun and talk to Sophia, the librarian. If anyone understands this situation, it's her. Well, good, another reason to go there. Flaming cheddar? I never met her, but I think someone once told me that my grandmother used to make that. There might be a recipe somewhere in the house. Try the big orange cookbook in the kitchen. Finally, we'll look at it. The Timber Tyrant? Ah, finding his tomb and treasure. Not a bad idea. I have something that may help you. My family was one of those involved in bringing him down long ago, and when I was young I found an ancient key in a little box that seemed to fit no door and underhome. Here, take it. I believe it may be the key to the tomb. Thanks. Well, how about you tell me your thoughts on Port Derrig? Or I guess it might be I'm going to tell him what happened in Port Derrig. It's very quiet these days, isn't it? It used to be a bit more lively, especially before good old Murden Wilt moved away. He'd sing and dance and noise in every night, and once he got going, it was hard to resist joining in. He was entirely mad, of course, but what a lovely man. Murden Wilt. A tomb key, huh? Let's see, where is it? Gloves. Liquid Ches. And, of course, the repulsive squish leaf. It squishes. It smells repulsively squishy. Well, yeah. Eat it! You taste a little of the plant, it tastes squishily repulsive. Ah, they're swapping us up. The mouse is disgusted with you. So am I. This kind of... those cables in the middle of the 4 selections there look kind of like a swastika. Anyway, got the safe key. Scroll recipes. Something green. Here we are, the tomb key. Yep. Put it in the keyhole and turn it. It smells of stone, strangely enough. Well, it comes from the stone forest, I guess. Swallow the key? Is this a spy movie or something? Could be. We don't know who works for Lord Urizen. The mouse had one of these before it was fashionable. Great. By the way, about the gloves. They'll be automatically used when you need them. Oh, good to know. Well, okay, let's get out of here then. So we need guano, right? Well, first of all, the humidity. Yes, it's much better now. Thank you. About the room of boxes. I'm really sorry you had to go in there. Okay, so now that we made some small talk, I know this is a little awkward, but could you poop in my hand? Excuse me, what? You want my poo? Well, I suppose I've heard of worse things, I think. Ah, there's nothing like some good bad excrement. Thanks. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, that's pretty much the response I'd expect. Can I eat it? No. Fine. So we got that, and now that we're here... Well, okay, so I found out earlier that I missed something I needed to get. That right there. You found an Anthic energy generator. You see, now that we have the Anthic energy generator, and we have the, adapter, it's probably delicious, but you might still need it. Now that we have these two things, that's the power source for the alchemy machine. So, that's on the 4th floor. No, it's not. Where is the alchemy machine? 5th floor? No. 2nd floor. Yeah! Darn right it is. So, let's take a look. The power source is detected, adapter selected. Now, okay, so here's the alchemy machine. The Alchemificator 1000. So, do we have the ingredients for any of the recipes that we currently have? Well, it's not where we're gonna find them. We're gonna find them in here. Here's the scroll of recipes. You're supposed to use the recipes to make things you can eat or drink, not eat or drink the recipes themselves. Well, fine. I just want to eat some paper. And when I was in elementary school, I knew a girl who ate paper, and she came out all right. I mean, I think. So, we don't have stigmatic celery. How about the soup of recovery? We don't have a salmon of wisdom or any of those other things. And how about the potion of jellification? We don't have the impossible flirk, the onion-based water extract, but we do have the repulsive squish leaf. So what I'm kind of curious about are what are these things? Prune juice. Okay, we do have prune juice. We have water, something green, Bolshewisky, and liquid cheese. Ugh. We do have an impossible flirk and a mellow mushroom. I've been to that restaurant. We have stigmatic celery, stoneflower seeds, repulsive squish leaf, and katabatic kamoon. Katabatic kamoon? Well, that just sounds weird. Well, in any case, we do have prune juice. So that being said, let's take a look at the scroll of recipes. So we need prune juice, impossible flirk, and repulsive squish leaf. Okay. So, prune juice. Where's the repulsive flirk? And the squish leaf. Okay, we have the potion of glob, but we still don't have the onion-based water extract. Huh. Okay, so next. Well, let's see. Make hot, we need the peppers, Madi Do, Din Kassi's lost beer recipe. Oh, we need a carrot and a leek. You know, it's funny that the carrot and the leek are the exotic things we don't have, isn't it? Well, in any case, it might make sense to hold off on doing the rest of this alchemy until we get the carrot and the leek. So, let's go get them. Oh, hey, you wouldn't happen to know about this recipe, would you? I guess not. Well, see you around, Banbon. Okay. There's you. There's you. And here's our friend the Hylian. So about the carrot and leek. Also, my Gavanin traveler. Thank you. That should last me for a while, and I won't have to use anything that will harm the ground. Here are your promised vegetables. Come back if you need more. Yeah! Great! I could actually just eat these, couldn't I? An orange carrot. There are ways of using this carrot, but this window does not support them. It smells of blueberries. No, really. Oh, maybe it was stored with the blueberries. The mouse asks you whether it looks like a rabbit. Well, mice will eat anything. What are you, a rabbit? You mean you won't just eat the raw carrot? I'm surprised. Now, eating a raw leek would be completely ridiculous. Yeah, you wave it around. Okay. I just imagine... I'm not sure what this window looks like from their side, you know? I imagine that the window might be like... It's like a monitor with my face on it that's being carried around by, like, moving vines. Not sure why the rabbit goes and pees. Aw. Well, anyway. Really, thanks a lot for that. So, that's out of the way. So... we still have a lot of things to do. Like, we'd still need a compass. In any case, what do we have right now? Or actually, hold on, let's look at this again. What did we need to do for the, for Catnip? I know we had to do something for him, and we still need to make that cookie. Oh, I bet the potion of agility... Hold on. The potion of agility is, what's going to let us cross that chasm. In any case... Yeah, we need to find the person on the Isle of the Stars who has Catnip's token, but I bet Catnip is the one who has the, compass. Wait. Oh yeah, he's the one who wants us to make the potion of jellification. So, So, what do we need to make that? The, onion extract, I think? I think so. Potion of jellification, yes, onion-based water extract. And, to make the soup of recovery, well, we still need the hair of the dog and some baharat. Well, I know where we're gonna get the hair of the dog, from that scary black dog. As it stands now, though, I think I'll just go do some alchemy. Oh, this is the toilet room. You don't do alchemy in toilets. I mean, I guess some people do. Okay, here we are. So, okay, here we have this. So do we have any water-based onion extract? Well, this. So, flamboyant flour, essence of Derrick. Oh god, the Dementus tomato. Herpetic gloop. Onion-based water extract! Yes! Yes, we have it! I'm almost tempted to drink it just to see what'll happen. But I won't, because then I'd have to make it again. Careful. You do not want to end up turning the inventory into jelly. It smells of squish leaf. The mouse doesn't want to be jellified. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save. And then I'm gonna drink it. Come on, man. Let's kill ourselves. That is probably the worst idea you've ever had. You're right, actually. I don't think I've proposed to do anything stupider since I've arrived in the land of dreams. Anyway, hey, Catnip. Well, by the way, can I have a salmon of wisdom? I guess I should have just headed to you right away about that. Salmon of wisdom? Ah, how unfortunate. I have so many types of fish, but sadly, none of that. If you had come just a few years ago, I could have provided a magnificent specimen. But when Mayor Penglog took over, he brokered a deal with a fishery on the mainland, and they sent their boats here and caught so much salmon that we never saw any again. You see, that's the problem, you know, with this kind of private enterprise. It's totally unchecked, and consequently, destroys everything. But anyway, I got your potion. You've done it! Oh, I have dreamed of this day. I'll get to work immediately. Yes, yes. Swivel it around, add some more. The smell. Yes, I have created jellified trout, the ultimate delicacy. Here, have some. Thank you so much for supporting this culinary revolution. Great. Great, this is what I did? I did it for trout jelly? This isn't what I was wanting at all. Anyway, we never got that subnana either, did we? Well, I probably should have done that while I was over there. So let's back over to Underhome and get a subnana. First floor? A subnana. You're not allowed to pick it up. Are you kidding me? Oh, we're gonna need the translator device in order to get the subnanas. Well, that sucks. Well, fine, I guess I'll just have to make do. So where exactly is the compass? And what is the jellified trout for? Or the trout jelly, I mean. It's not even here. What? Well, I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to have to look up a walkthrough. Again, because I looked it up earlier to find out that I'd missed something. You know, the location of that thing I needed in order to activate the alchemy machine. But I'm sorry, I just have no clue at all what to do otherwise. Okay, so the walkthrough says to go here, then to head back, then to go to the lighthouse, and then not be able to get in, and then to leave the lighthouse, and to talk to Jack the Octopus. But you might be noticing the problem here. Where the hell is Jack the Octopus? I'm not convinced there is a Jack the Octopus here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I missed this. No wonder I couldn't advance. That must be Jack the Octopus. A happy cloud. A grumpy cloud. So, I notice you have a hook on one of your arms and smoke a pipe. That's not healthy.
A fine day, is it not?
It's a terrible octopus voice. I'll try a better one.
I'm Jack the...
I don't like that voice either. How about...
I am Jack the Octopirate, traveler of the many seas, scourge of the galleon, eater of the near unbroken mussel. Or so I was called in my youth. Now I run this here lighthouse and spend my days telling tales and watching the waves.
Is it a nice lighthouse?
A lighthouse is a boon to any captain, and a port without a lighthouse is no port at all. Port Derrick has maintained the lighthouse for as long as I can remember, but now there are rumors that it is to be shut down as an unnecessary expense. Can you believe that? I'm not too worried, though. Let him come. There is yet some strength in these arms of mine.
Do you have a compass?
Compass? Why, yes, I do have one. It is yours if you want it. I certainly have little use for it these days. It's inside in the blue cabinet. Door's unlocked, just need to pull harder.
Whoops. You know about the Timber Tyrant?
Aye, I've heard the stories. I've even seen some of his sunken ships in the cities he burned that never grew again. Not so much unlike this Lord Urizen now. Just goes to show it doesn't matter where you're from, tyranny lives everywhere.
That's a good way of putting it. It avoids blaming other countries as, inherently evil.
If the ship ran aground, it may have done so on Hellenic Island, which you may see from the top of my lighthouse. Why don't you go up there and have a look? Aye, Port Derrick is a fine town. I didn't choose this lighthouse for nothing, you know. Back in the day, who wouldn't have wanted Jack the Octopirate as their lighthouse keeper? Even got an offer from the Kingdom of the Enigmatic Snakes. Aye, truly. But there's just something about Port Derrick. It's simple and quiet and decent. A good place for an old sailor.
Nice talking, Jack. So here we are. We found the compass. And some sponges, screw those. God, I hate sponges. The clock is set to Eastern Octopus time. I sailed with Chinese pirates by Alico Lilius. Kinoi no Komatsu by Katsushika Hokusai. Wait, Hokusai, like the painter? Well, that's a real book too, I think. Candle. Flowers. They prefer Robert Frost. Indoor seaweed. This stuff's hard to grow. The Black Corsair's Daughter by Emilio Salgari. Myths of the Fortunate Isles by Cabre Bearsgroomer. The Son of the Red Corsair by Emilio Salgari. Finding Your Way Around Silmeria by the famous adventurer. God, all these books. Wow, that one sounds kind of kinky. But, well, I like that the books in this place at least match up with the colors of the lighthouse. So Jack keeps a human skull. I mean, okay. Wonder who Edward Teach was. Legendary ancient treasures, the mysterious island, the tigers of Momprakim, sailing the Serenarian Sea, Randolph Carter. I think that's another real person. What are these things? I don't know. Jack's beloved teddy bear, Ursus arctos. Jack made prawn soup for breakfast. It's an octopus thing. A seaweed-themed towel that Jack got as a present from Poseidon after defeating him in a shark wrestling match. But Poseidon's a real jerk. At least our timeline's Poseidon. Dishes made from flat shells. A pitcher full of seawater. Guess he must splash that all over himself to stay hydrated. This flower is called Harry. No comments on that rug, though. Oh, look. It's a cat. It's a Katzensaule. Greetings, native. I come in peace. Tell me about yourself, Katzensaule. I come from the beyond to explore your world. Do not fear me. I seek only knowledge and delicious plant matter. Because you're a caterpillar. Your customs are as peculiar to me as your lack of limbs. In particular, I wonder about why you keep to one shape throughout your lives, changing only upon death. So is it an alien or just a normal caterpillar? Well, anyway, see you around, Katzensaule. I like you. You're a good guy. You see, Hellenic Island. Yeah, it's hard to miss it. The telescope is pointed at a nearby beach, where mermaids sometimes go to sunbathe. Pirates love mermaids. Nails? Nah, we're not interested in these nails. I guess that one's a bit of a fail for the nails. Although from here they might watch things set sail. They could also impale that caterpillar, but let's not think about that. That's just nasty. Alright. We're finally ready to set sail. By the way, you wouldn't have to know about the beer recipe.
Can't say I've heard anything. A few ships have been lost over the years, though. Especially before Jack took over the lighthouse, that is. Maybe he can help you.
Fortunate Isles?
Ah, my friend, there's so much to see. The lyrical slopes of the Isle of the Sun, the vast desert of the Isle of the Stars, the beauty of Afthonia, the grace of Sadaka, the serenity of small uninhabited islands. The Fortunate Isles are full of joys and mysteries for us who are born to travel. Let's set out.
Well, that must be right there one of Lord Arizen's ships. Looks kind of like Hawaii above it. And that island on the right looks like that Crescent Island in Bravely Default. So I guess we'll check out Hellenic Island. The ship must have been hit by a storm. This nail was brought in a sail and got caught in a sail. Oh, was bought in a sail and got caught in a sail, I see. It's a piece of crate. Nothing in there. Well, expect to find nothing but wood. The ship's anchor is still whole, unlike the ship. After all this time, I'm amazed the sail hasn't totally decayed away. You found Ninkasi's beer recipe. Good thing she wrote it on a clay tablet. They're quite durable. Well, I'm beginning to think that if time passes more slowly here, that must be why the ships and stuff haven't decayed as much yet. Well, anyway, we've seen some other ruins that you think would be in worse shape. So to the Isle of the Moon, and to the Shadowy Glen. The music here is really quite ominous, seemingly for no reason. It's like scarier than the music for the Petrified Forest. By the way, are we going to keep the beer recipe? A clay tablet with a recipe on it. You have trouble following the instructions. It appears to be in the form of a poem. It smells of sand, clay, and fish? You're supposed to drink the result, not the recipe. The mouse says it has a better beer recipe at home. That mouse is never impressed by anything. You find out which way north is. Probably. It smells of seafood. It won't fit in your mouth. The mouse says thank you, but it already knew which direction north is. Well, it's not pointing north, it looks like. It looks like it's pointing to the northwest.
This is certainly Ninkasi's recipe. only she would write it in the form of a poem to herself, and on a clay tablet no less. Always knew to appreciate herself, if you know what I mean. But she was worth it, she really was. Great woman. Brilliant. Was brewing beer before most of us knew anything about it. Let's see what's in this recipe now. Bapier bread, honey, no, date juice. Grapes? Or is that raisins? Strange. Suppose I'll have to experiment a bit. Let me get you that token, you've earned it.
Hooray! Nice doing business with you, friend. So, back to the ship, and now to the Isle of the Sun. Or actually, hold on, is that where we're going? Yeah, Niam's on the Isle of the Sun, so that's our destination. So, to Aftonia. Wow, this place looks kind of like that town from near. One of these flowers appears to be whistling. These flowers speak in a secret language. Well, let's address the elephant in the room here, guys. This sign. This must be the name of Aftonia written in their language. This tavern is called Antigone. Oh wait, no, that must be the name of the bar. So, is it Greek? Hi, traveler. Isn't it a wonderful day? Our civilization may be collapsing, but isn't the sunshine beautiful? You're an optimist, I'll tell you that much. I'm Athanasia. I was born here on the Isle of the Sun a long, long time ago. But I'm still young for a turtle. I like to take things slowly and enjoy them, though lately everything has become very hectic. What else can I tell you? Love this land, I love the sunshine, I love being a turtle. You've got to enjoy life or it's pointless. That's what I've learned from living so long. Do you know why the Isle of the Sun is called as it is? It's because it is favored by the sun. On the Isle of the Moon, they long for sunlight but rarely see it. On the Isle of the Stars, they have too much sunlight and seek to escape it. Sometimes I wonder whether we haven't accepted too many injustices simply because the sunshine makes us feel good despite our poverty. Makes sense. So tell me about Aftonia. It's a beautiful town on a beautiful island, and it's all going straight to Hades in a handbasket. Thousands of years of history, enough to impress even a turtle, and all of it's falling apart because we're letting our idiot leader sell everything we have to Lord Urizen. Other than that, everything's wonderful. The Antigone is, without question, the best tavern in all of Aftonia. The owners are very kind people, and their food is simply delicious. The tomato salad alone makes it worth eating there. Not that anyone does these days, of course, as you can see. Our glorious leader, Mayor Cranion, claims that his policy of austerity, except for himself and Lord Urizen, of course, is the will of the Oracle and the only path to our salvation. So either he's an idiot or the Oracle is an idiot. I haven't decided which. The problem is that even though that's how it, you're right. A lot of people in real life would blindly accept that. Nolus is someone? If you leave the city, could you do me a favor? My cousin Nolus. Well, he's a bit of an idiot, and he's fled the city because he's scared. Could you check whether he's managed to kill himself yet? I have an idea as to where he might have gone. Now mark it on that map thing of yours. How about the Isle of the Moon? Could you tell me about that? Oh, there's some really nice swamps there. I love a good swamp. Isle of the Stars? Did you know they actually kicked out their mayor? Doesn't seem to have done them much good, though. The military's taken over. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Guards everywhere, real freedom. Seriously, never trust anyone who will just obey orders. You're right. You want to have to know about the legend of the Timber Tyrant? He was another one of those idiots who think that they can conquer the world because they're better and smarter than everyone else. He caused a lot of misery. On the plus side, he's dead now. And finally, have you seen Niam? Haven't seen her, sorry. Aw. Maybe someone here will have seen Niam. Delicious bread, the subtle enemy of all those who seek to enjoy an extensive meal. It is quite possible to eat so much bread as to be sated before the meal even arrives. Odd way of putting it. I mean, saying sated like that just seems kind of pretentious, I guess. Oddly enough, it's not letting me observe anything. Oh, here we go. Menus. Oh, wooden flowers. Real craftsmen. So tourists always expect Aftonian people to smash their plates after a meal. Plates being expensive and Aftonian people being poor, that doesn't really happen. These glasses are used for drinking the island's most popular beverage, water. Hot peppers. Kyon and Katerina don't mind, huh? Good. They also have some garlic. Ah, the world without garlic would be a sad world indeed. Rainbow Retsina, wine from a farm in the hills of Helios. Yeah, it definitely is a Greek kind of place. Ninroot flavored ouzo, and a special local liqueur made from goat juice. Blah. It is a pink drink. Kalispera, traveler. Don't mad yourself, Kyan. Just call me Kyan. I run this establishment with my wife, Katerina. I like good food, good people, good music. Arf! Tell me about... Wait, you're married to a human woman? Some people think we shouldn't get along, but I don't see why. When people love each other and have much in common, like we do, why should ancient enmities or the opinions of people stop them? All that matters is that we love each other. Fair enough, though in real life there are other reasons you shouldn't have sex with animals. But then again, this is a person. Antigone was the name of Katerina's mother. She started this tavern many years ago. Very nice lady and a shockingly talented cook. Never went to any school, didn't have any degrees, but she could cook better than any chef I've ever met. It's a challenge to keep the food as good as it was when she was a cook. Just figuring out how she made the fried zucchini almost took me a year. Poorly made fried zucchini are one of the most properly made are one of the most delicious. The situation of the poverty is enraging. Food prices have gone up so much that we're forced to turn to raise our prices, and people have so little money that they can't afford a simple tavern meal anymore. I don't know how much longer we can keep going this way. Where's this oracle I've heard about? Mayor Cranyon claims his actions are being guided by the oracle. Maybe they are, but I don't see them working. Everything is getting more expensive, underemployment is rising, wages are falling. I may not be a mayor, but I don't see how ruining one's customers is good for business. How can we recover if we're all living in a ditch by the time he's finished? I've heard the legend of the Timber Tyrant. Why don't you ask Stavros about it? He knows a lot about history, being a philosopher. Thanks for the hot peppers, by the way. We've got far too many hot peppers. Just take some from that bunch on the wall and don't worry about payment. But you just said that food is so scarce and expensive. Also, dog food. Dog food? You mean for a metaphysical quadrupedal dog, right? Most other dogs are relatively easy to feed, as Katerina will tell you. Why do you always eat everything, she always says to me. Anyway, I'll write down a recipe for you. Some of the ingredients might be hard to find. Oh, I get it, this is food for that one dog. I fear that what you're looking for is the hair of a quadruped. The hair of bipedal dogs does not have the same properties, or I would consider selling some of it to keep the tavern going. I'll talk to Katerina in a moment. So, where is it? Yeah. Dog food, something green, fantastic feta, mellow mushroom. So we need the saurian sausage and fantastic feta. You can probably get that around here. Hello there, how are you? Oh wait, you're not Katerina. Who's Katerina? I mean, I guess I'm kind of glad Katerina isn't a human. I'm not really from around here. I'm actually from another world, much like you are, though I don't have a window like you do. I came here as part of an experiment in transdimensional travel, and it's taking a bit longer to get back than I expected. I'm not worried though, they'll have me back in no time. Besides, I like it here. Oh, so you're another interdimensional traveler. Well, I'm sorry, but if my experiences a while ago with this really horrible moron named Arima Takia are any indication, I'm a little concerned that you might not be able to get back. Still, That's fine. You know. Man, it would really suck if we were on the timeline where Zen took over Earth. Or the timeline where Zen was stopped from taking over Earth and so the Combine came in. It's about Kyan. Oh, he's the best. When I came to this world, I appeared over the water in the harbor and immediately fell in. He heard me screaming in surprise and came to rescue me. He and his wife have been taking care of me since, feeding me, showing me around town. They're good people. You like the food? It's great, isn't it? I just keep eating and eating and eating. It's a shame the tavern is so empty. What do you think of this town? It's a beautiful town. I love all the little steps and the balconies and the plateaus and the amazing view you get from up there. I think I really needed a vacation, too. I've never heard of that. The Timber Tyrant, that is. Well, nice meeting you, Ashram. So this is Katerina. I get it. It's a feud between dogs and cats. So these are real flowers. A glass that Katerina hasn't cleaned up yet. An elaborate Ozo bottle. The Ozo isn't very good, but tourists are always asking for these bottles. Kyan and Katerina have given up trying to explain that flashier doesn't mean better. These bottles contain a special kind of olive oil made according to Antigone's secret recipe. A certificate acknowledging that the owners of this tavern are masters of the difficult art of making fried zucchini. I'm beginning to suspect that the writer might just really like zucchini. Fried zucchini, that is. I actually have panpipes like those. This salt shaker wants to exterminate all unsalty food. That's a nasty guy. To you, these are flowers. To a goat, they're an appetizer. How you doing, Katerina? Kalispera, traveler. What can I do for you? Well, you're specifically Katerina Ailoropolo. Antigone. The tavern was started by my mother, Antigone, a long time ago. Her cooking was so good that everyone came here, sometimes even from other islands. We're trying to live up to the name. Times are harder now, though. No one can afford to come from another island just for food. It's been very hard for a lot of people around here. I worry about the people who've lost their homes. They're all fine now, but when the winter comes... I hope that following the Oracle's advice will make things better. We have all the traditional drinks of the Isle of the Sun. Ozo, Retsina, Taisporo, whatever you want. We also have special flavors like Oranic Ozo or Realistic Retsina. We only serve them with or after food, though. I know that in some places people just drink in order to get drunk, but on the Isle of the Sun, that kind of thing is considered to be very crude, and this is one tradition I agree with. Drinking should be about joy, not drowning one's sorrows. Can I have some fantastic feta? Would you like to try some? Here, please take it. No, don't worry, it's free. There's not much of it left around here since the feta makers were fired and production was moved to the mainland, but I believe in hospitality. Besides, we've all had fantastic feta many times before, and you've never tried it. It's also highly prized by alchemists, you know. And that's what I am. Hospitality is the most important value, my mother always told me. Without it, we are barbarians, she said, or predators who turn on one another. At least historically, the Greeks did make a big deal out of hospitality. And so she still has too many hot peppers, so we can take all we need. Have you ever been to the Isle of the Stars? I've always wanted to go there, see the desert, maybe buy one of those magnificent carpets they make there. Maybe once the situation around here gets a little better, Kyan and I can go there for a couple weeks. So that's where we're gonna get a carpet for Underhome, huh? I'm Katerina. Run this tavern with my husband Kyan. We make a good team. He's the love of my life. Some people thought we made a strange pair. They were idiots. I mean, it's obviously like a metaphor for, interracial marriage and how some people are against that. Because they're dumb and are dumb. Where's the feta? Here it is. You use the feta. Nothing happens. Surprised? Feta smells like feta. Amazing, though, that anything that came out of a goat could smell so good. The mouse nibbles the feta. It's excellent, but you should really keep it. Finally, something the mouse approves of. He never approves of anything we do. Cool, fresh water from the hills of Helios. The young, unemployed man who lives here is too depressed to go out. A strange man called Richard Alpert lives here, a fragrant bee attractor. The owners of this house moved to Oneropolis when Lord Urizen's goons kicked them out of their home. And the problem is that they're probably going to be, homeless. I know, something about a wasp. The home of Stavros the Philosopher Tree. He's not at home at the moment. An old lady called Eleni lives here with her daughter Maria. I always thought Maria was a very pretty name. Orange, you glad you didn't step on this? A fallen orange, ideal for rolling under the wheels of a cart so it'll go squish. Even though oranges grow really well on the Isle of the Sun, Mayor Cranion's latest agreement with Lord Urizen says that oranges will now be imported at a high cost from the land of Sweaty Bum. Ugh, I don't want to think about sweaty bums. With poverty on the rise, crime has also gone up. That's why Stelios has been forced to secure his windows and get a vicious guard flower. It's like a serious point, but it's also funny. Various bushes grow around Aftonia. Their berries are unhealthy for most animals, but some birds like to eat them because that's how they roll. House is empty. Its former owners have been kicked out by Mayor Cranion. Left or right? Left or right? Left. Oh hey, I suppose you probably work for the mayor. A pretty flower bed. Don't step on it or the bees and wasps and other horrific flower-addicted hairy insects will come and sting you to death. True story. That is the problem with pretty flowers. This flower looks harmless, but it is. I'm glad.
What do you want, stranger?
Who are you, Matt?
Name's Matt. My job is to keep the streets clean and orderly, to stand between civilization and anarchy, protecting the city from danger.
Well, there's been a lot of disorder lately, with rising crime because of the rising poverty.
Disorder lurks around every corner. People are foolish and easily frightened. Any one of them could turn into an anarchist. I have to protect society against itself. They don't appreciate it, of course.
What do you think of the Oracle?
Mayor Cranion is the support of the Oracle, and he's leading us to a better future. It won't be an easy road, and some of the weak-minded people in the city are going to suffer, but it's their own fault. They should trust in the wisdom of the Oracle.
I see, so he's a person who genuinely believes in this dogma. Well, it's not going to help you any.
What else can you expect? Foreigners everywhere, our own citizens getting lazy and never working, no respect for the old values. It was inevitable.
You heard of the Timber Tyrant?
You always say the Timber Tyrant was a bad man, but was he? He fought for his country and brilliantly defeated his enemies. There's never been a general so great. He was betrayed by his own people and murdered on the Isle of the Moon. And why? Because they were jealous of his greatness.
I disagree with you about everything, Matt. Also a lizard. This lizard dude is soaking up the heat like a boss. Constitution Square, huh? Is this where the mayor lives? A profoundly Aryan window. This window subscribes to that word. These flowers think that everyone should pay taxes except the people who have money, because otherwise they might be discouraged from making more money. Yeah, that's basically the argument against not taxing really rich people. These flowers are very pretty, but kind of shallow. Like this building. This window has been thoroughly secured. Pretentious flowers. These flowers have been brainwashed, which is impressive given that they don't actually have brains. This window has been secured against robbers and popular insurrections. So this mayor is also a skull, huh? Cranion bought this at a bargain price after the museum was privatized. As you can see, putting antique artifacts into the hands of private citizens is much better than keeping them in a dusty old museum. Who cares about what this object teaches us about Aftonian history anyway? Hands off, that's private property. Mayor Cranyon meeting Bono. A photo of Mayor Cranyon with Lord Urizen. These feathers from the rare gray Pegasus were a personal gift to Mayor Cranyon from Lord Urizen. So all of the mayors of the islands are currently on the payroll of Lord Urizen, right? I mean, I'd say pretty clearly yes, is the answer to that. Lord Urizen is basically lobbying all of these guys to have what he wants done. And there is where he keeps his most priceless antiques. Discarded personnel files, also known as liberated human resources. Yeah, it's a euphemism for you. Carbonated water from a pitcher? Mayor Cranyon's notes. Most of them begin with the words cut or fire and end with smileys. An illustration of Mayor Cranyon's planned Thera Beach Fun Refreshing Wellness Mega Hotel. Yeah, ruin the natural beauty of your city, huh? Mayor Cranyon's diploma of modern macroeconomic consultancy management from the University of Plagiathingen. Yeah, that place. Mayor Cranyon's collection of exotic drinks from the Plateau of Lung is too expensive for you to fool around with. The designer's glasses cost more than the Antigone makes in a year. Their theme is inspiration through poverty. Advanced macroeconomic tools that have nothing to do with making cocktails. Yeah, more books about Bitches Dig Skulls by Macho McBoner. I get it. Are they skulls as a reference to, like, all the conservative YouTubers who use skulls as, like, symbols? Yes? Do you know about the crisis in your city, Mayor Cranyon? The average person in this street is suffering, and I fully understand that and feel for them. Unfortunately, a state must make difficult decisions that may seem strange to the common man, but are completely logical when looked at from the perspective that we look at them, the perspective of the future. That is why all the actions taken in Aftonia are based on the advice of the Oracle, an expert in all matters regarding the post-present development of events. We are confident that partnership will lead our community to a better future, even though sacrifices will be necessary. Okay, so in other words, these people are just they're all going to say the same nonsense as Mayor Penglog did, right? Yeah, it's except that here that explains that the rich are job creators. They do the real work of thinking and owning, not the superficial work of working, which is at best a metaphorical work, of course. I do like that line. That's a good way of making fun of people who act like the workers aren't doing the thing that is important, is the people who... I don't think the people here are I almost hate reading this aloud. It's like so aggravating. I mean, it's not as aggravating as, say, Toyotomi, but Toyotomi would get along with this guy great. Anyway, one of the great problems we face on the Isle of the Sun is the childish laziness of its people and their lack of what our experts call inventfulness, a concept similar but more complex than inventiveness, in that it encompasses a certain cleverness and brilliance rarely found in our people. They spend their days idly sitting in the sun, or working with their hands or minds, when much greater things are possible. Look at that concept painting behind me. If we transformed our beaches into exclusive resorts, how much money could be earned? Imagine hotels housing thousands of tourists from the mainland, with little swimming pools so they don't have to walk to the beach, with entertainers at every corner. That is the future. You don't understand what's important in life, Mayor. I stand by the ideals of freedom, democracy, and anti-austerity on which I was elected. Surely it is not my fault if there are those who cannot understand how my policies are every word and letter of the Constitution, a truthful and passionate, but also logical and inevitable bringing to life of the very fundamental principles of my program as endorsed by the Oracle.
These traitors who cannot understand the deeply progressive concept of anti-austerity via radical austerity are the very definition of the laziness and corruption responsible for our problems. I feel deeply sorry that such harsh measures are necessary, but I am proud of the new direction the island has taken.
Well, yeah, you're terrible too. I mean, I'm not surprised. At this point, I expect that all of the politicians will be this way, because they're politicians. And, well, yeah. So I guess we'll check out the right next, right? Man, Aftonia is a huge city in comparison with Port Derrig, huh? I mean, pretty much, yeah. Still no sign of Niam, though. Well, this place is mostly like the rest of this town. Aftonia is very pretty, very Mediterranean, as I don't think really needs to be said. Uth-Nargai. Wonder if that's on the mainland or somewhere else on this island. Not somebody else, somewhere else. Bees only come to these flowers when someone's trying to open the window. Gosh. The writer of this, at this point I think the writer is a socialist and is very Christian, but also very much dislikes bees. How about this broom? This broom. A broom that belongs to that slightly deranged flower next to it. What makes that flower slightly deranged? Oh wow, the cursor is dumb. Okay, the cursor had a bit of a hard time there, but it's feeling better now. You see, it's been having a rough family life, and it's really too bad. So, lamp oil is too expensive these days, so people prefer to use candles. At least they also look prettier. A broom that belongs to that slightly deranged flower. And this flower every morning gets out of its pot to sweep the street and sing peculiar anthems. That's weird. What's a peculiar anthem? Oh, can we talk to the frog? I mean, probably not. What's this thing? A flower? I think it's at the base of the broom. Nasturtiums, very similar to those grown in Eriador. Well, of course. This is the home of a sentient glass called Cheris? That's weird. Why a sentient glass? Well, whatever. These flowers are debating the origin of debt. Violence. A chameleon mushroom disguised as a pot. The flowers are real? No. Well, hold on, how does that work? Are they like growing out of the chameleon mushroom? I mean, I guess so. Whoa! Come on, cursor. I hope the cursor is done having a bad day. I mean, blue mushroom's having a good day, I think, but these flowers are just waiting to drop on someone's head, cracking their skull and spilling bees down their back. Oh, God. You really just don't like bees, do you? Oh, up the stairs. Oh, hey! We heard about, like, a tree philosopher, right? Look at that little Aftonian ship. You wonder where that ship is going? Sardaca? Hlanith? Maybe even Oneropolis. I'm under the impression Oneropolis is a big city. Ah, the smell of flowers. Ah, their beautiful colors. Ah, the horrible werebees that can't tell the difference between a flower in your hand. Yeah, I'm going to think that this writer has had some bad experience with bees. There's a tiny lizard living in that pot. His name's Andrew, and he's very pleased to meet you. Oh, that's sweet. Anyway, who are you? How may I help you? I hate that voice. How about, how may I help you? Is that better? I don't know. I feel like I'm a talentless hack. So you're Stavros, the philosopher, right? I am Stavros, a Dendric philosopher. I was grown and raised here on the Isle of the Sun, and it is here that I spend my time trying to understand what little I can. to find as much enlightenment as we may be granted in this or any other world. Many question the value of democracy in times like these, dreaming instead of great leaders to relieve us of our burdens. It may be granted that our situation is partially of our own making, having elected those who brought us here, though that is a dangerous simplification. However, history teaches us a simple lesson as regards leaders. A great leader may be great today, but their greatness may not last forever. They may grow corrupt or be replaced by others. A bad leader, once in power, is hard to remove and may poison the spirit of the land for many years. An elected government, however, no matter how foolish, may still be altered by democratic means. Democracy may correct itself. That is our only hope. You see, that's how I feel, but then you consider... But let's hear your thoughts on the nature of violence, Stavros. I have spent much thought on the subject of violence. In the beginning, I believed that the only wisdom lay in rejecting all violence. It is easy to come to this conclusion. All that is required is a little history. For a long time, I was very certain of this position. The use of violence debased both victim and perpetrator. But lately, I have begun to have doubts. While violence should not be allowed to the state, should not be sanctioned by the law, does that mean all violence is wrong? How may an oppressed people defend themselves when dialogue is not an option? When the oppressor will use violence without remorse, is it not justified to strike back? Have you heard about that philosopher who spoke of the sea claiming everything? Sometimes I have to turn away from the sea to be able to think. It inspires me, but it can also put me in a trance. It is overwhelming and perfect, which is why it is the source of so many sayings and metaphors. Good point. So, do you think anything about the philosophy of history? I mean, probably. Or just history in general? I study history. History, it has been said, repeats itself. But I believe that is a misunderstanding. History is not a process, but a result. The patterns we must observe are the patterns of wealth and war, thought and polity. If we may understand the rules to which these matters are bound, then history may be changed. History will only repeat so long as we do not understand its machinery. He's already a better philosopher of history than that idiot that idiot Kodai ever was. God, I hate Kodai. He's almost as bad as his son. Anyway, I'm sorry to unload on you that way, Stavros. You don't even know who those guys are, and with any luck, you never will. Now, I assume you don't think much of Urizen. He calls himself a follower of reason, but in truth, it is false reason that he follows, a hollow construct of language and customs that allows none of the principles of reason. I see. He's a follower of reason in the way that the capitalists of the Enlightenment were. I don't know if the Oracle speaks the truth. Can the future be predicted? Unlikely. But if the ancients are to be believed, many of the Oracle's prophecies came true. Perhaps it is less a matter of foreknowledge than of extrapolating from current knowledge. Perhaps that is what it means to be a seer, to see not the future, but the present. Do you know where Niam is? Do you know Niam? Oh, you know Niam and the. That is wonderful. They are a lovely couple, aren't they? Anyway, yes, Niam passed through here a while ago. She said she was going to the hills of Helios. Here, I'll show you on your map. Finally! We're finally gonna find Niam, which really won't solve our problems, but it'll get us somewhere. And at least we'll know where she is, which I guess is one of our problems. Have you heard of the Timber Tyrant, Stavros? His tale is one of the most tragically ironic of our time. Did you know that the Timber Tyrant was not his real name, but only a mocking nickname given to him by his opponents? And yet, for all his conquests, for all his so-called glory, his true name has been forgotten. He sought to make himself the greatest king who ever lived, and now he is only half remembered in a story of barbarism and futility. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Well, Stavros, you're a good guy. I really do like you. If only more folks were like you, this world would be a better place. But you see the way that his roots are sort of his feet? I think that's what's going on with our window. Oh, hey. A small street. Another candle? A lamp. Its name is Photis. Other candles can't hold a candle to this candle. No one knows what that means. Oh, it's another lizard. A lizard! A lizard! A lizard! A lizard on the wall! This is where Costas lives. The door smells goaty. Are you trying to goad us into doing something here, huh? It's a Nimbus 1821. Harry Potter. These flowers remind you of that, but nobody can pronounce the name of that flower. Stick your nose in these flowers if you want a bee to crawl into your brain. Did, the writer take a trip to Greece and loved the flowers but hated all the bees? Well, anyway, so how you doing there, friend? Nom nom nom. Tell me about Aftonia, Costas. Oh wait, his name is Costas Katsikas. The Katsikas family's always lived in Aftonia. I want to give him a different voice. How about the Costas family's always lived. Nah, I can't do it. I can't read these intellectual, these formal dialogues in a hey, let me tell you something kind of voice, you know? Maybe I can. The Katsias family's always lived in Aftonia. My parents were Aftonia people, and their grandparents before them. Sometimes people tell me, why didn't you go away? If making a living's so hard in Aftonia, why don't you move to Oneropolis? Well, I like it here. This is home. My parents worked their whole life so I could have a little house to live in and a garden to plant my vegetables in. This is our land. Why should I give it all up, all these decades of work, just 'cause Lord Urizen tells me to? That's a good way of thinking about it. I'm Costas. I don't really have much to say about myself. I'm just a regular working goat trying to make a living. I work all morning, I work all afternoon, but when I take a break at midday to eat something, Mayor Cranion comes and tells me I'm lazy. What does he do except sit around and talk? He shuffles papers around and fires people arbitrarily. You know, like a proper leader. You gotta grow vegetables yourself these days. It's all gotten so expensive. Why did the mayor think it was a good idea to import vegetables from the mainland when we can grow them right here perfectly well? I'll never understand it. Well, it's because he wants to make money and doesn't care about his people. And in a few generations, the sad thing is, your descendants will probably have bought into it. I don't understand things like that, like the Oracle. I just understand the world that's before me. Work, home, food, people. I can't make my decisions because of some prophet. Maybe the mayor knows something I don't. I guess he is mayor for a reason, after all. Well, see you around, Costas. I like you. What do you think of him, Blue Mushroom? The Blue Mushroom says he likes him too. Or you know what? It's an it. What am I saying? I don't know if it's a he. It isn't it because it's a mushroom. Doesn't have a sex. This mushroom's thinking about getting a book from the library. Something light and fungal. These flowers are stupid. Bird is sitting under this bush reading the new book by Nikos Kazant... Greek name. This flower may not be covered in bees, but it could be. A flower that is currently writing its thesis on the biology of social insects. Ah, O. Wilson would be proud. Is his name O. Wilson or like Edward Will? I forget that guy's name. I think it's Wilson. Twin flowers. A group of bees are having a session, or having a slanning passion in these flowers. Discussing important questions like into whose food they will fly today. Okay, sure, man. Works for me, whatever. So this is the library, huh? I like libraries. Oh, an owl. I hear they're pretty smart. Really, owls aren't that smart, but, I guess it's probably... What if the owl is named Athena? That'd be grand. But wait a minute. Oh my god, the books! There's so many books. Okay, let's get started. Oh boy. This really sucks too, because I'm using a different mouse than usual, which is why I've had some issues with the cursor, and this mouse is worse in every way than my normal mouse. Oh my god. Okay, Adam Smith, that is a classic. I've read that one. I was in a history class once, and our teacher said about, it was like, so what's the most influential book we learned about in the course? And the vast majority, that's ridiculous. Cthulhu is not nice when you get to know him. Wait, an autobiography? Okay, so it's like an ironic name for his own autobiography, I see. Anyway, but everybody said that the most important, most influential book in our entire course that we learned about was probably the Communist Manifesto. Oh, the Canon of Medicine by Ibn Sina. I guess that earlier guy we heard of named like Ibn Sina, spelled with S-E-E-N-A, I think we met that person, was a different Ibn Sina. In any case, she said that no, I don't think it's the Communist Manifesto. I think the most influential book in this course was The Wealth of Nations. The reason being that The Wealth of Nations influenced all subsequent economic theory, including capital in the Communist Manifesto. Oh, Vladimir Lenin, huh? The Fnarbles of Intergram. A Fnarble. No, by a Fnarble. Is that a Fnarble as in just some Fnarble? Or is it rather Fnarble as in like its given name is A, so it might be off Snarble. Japanese pirates were brutal, and I'm not sure I like Aleko Lilius for sailing with them, but I shouldn't assume that I know his story just from the title of his book. You see, there's a lot more to things than titles. You know, a title might have a name like there's a book called Steal This Book. And, well, actually, that title is completely representative of what you're going to find inside the book, which is instructions on how to do all sorts of crime, which is great. It's a great book that everyone should have. 13 Blessings of Shiogre. We're beginning to see some repeat books, aren't we? So what's going on with these 4 books? They look like they're stacked on top of each other. Okay, I get it now. I was wondering if that was a gap between this purple book and this blue book, but I realize now that that greenish spot is probably part of the spine of the blue book. It's just that unlike all these other books, which in these islands are almost invariably one color, that book happened to be 2 colors. It might have been imported from somewhere else. The Marvelous Adventures of Captain Starbeard, huh? Sure. The Guide to Billion Toad City, The Hierarch and the Primate. Oh, Ape Theology by Edward Gibbon. The Velvet Book of No Krasami. No clue what that means. But it's like we're not even halfway through all the books. God have mercy, there's so many books! And we definitely are beginning to see some repeats. I mean, that's for sure. Why am I even doing this? Like, am I just out of my mind? I guess it's fine. This would be a good time to tell a story. Well, I know a lot of stories, but I'm not sure I want to tell them right now, because I think I might have, like, videos where I can just tell a story and that's the video. That'd be pretty nifty, you know? But I feel like, what if I tell a story now? I might, give it away. I don't know, man. Oh, that's a real book, too. Haven't read that one. I'm given to understand it's a pretty unrealistic depiction of the center of the Earth, though. Ooh! Martin Luther King Jr. exists on this timeline, too, huh? I'm beginning to see that this timeline, in many ways, has not diverged as much from our own as I would have expected. That's fine. I'm kind of interested in knowing what it means for time to... Oh, wait a minute, I get it. These squished books have no titles, instead they have initials. The first one's AUM, the second RTDM, and the third AMX. Sure. That was a charming one. Now there is a book worth reading. We should sit down and read that and try and figure out where this guy came from. The Suffering God? Sure. Trolls Never Sleep, a novel by Billicle of Barsetshire. Worcestershire sauce. Herbert Quain. Myths? I like a good myth. Oh, hey, there's something I could talk about. So, I'll tell you about the Titanomachy. Since we're in a Greek-themed place, might have pronounced that wrong. Anyway, so it says, oh, mysterious druid. I mean, I guess they're pretty well known in these islands. There was, so before the Olympian gods, there were the Titans. And the Titans were founded and headed by Kronos. And Kronos, the god of time, well, you see, he had taken over the gods by overthrowing his own father, Uranus. And so after that, there was, he was told that he's going to be overthrown like his father was. And so to prevent that from happening, prevent his kids from overthrowing him, every time Cronus had a kid, he would devour them. Which is, not so good. So finally, one of his kids, Zeus, got together with Hestia, and I think Poseidon and some of his other relatives, to take out Cronus. Das Kapital, my man, that's a classic. One of the major classics missing from my collection. I don't have Capital, don't have the Quran. Hopefully by the time this is uploaded, I'll have some of these major books, though. I don't even have the Principia Mathematica by Newton, which is every bit as influential as those other books. That's like the book from which the modern world is descended. Anyway, visual guide to the works of Phrynis... Whatever. Good job, Terry. Toltos. Long, hard, and full of seamen. Tales of the Naughty Submariners by an indecent author. You see, the joke is that seamen sounds like semen, and long and hard is a description of an erect penis. Space studs! I guess they do have space travel here, right? Oh, hey! The collected essays of Prometheus. So I guess Prometheus became an essayist on this timeline. I'm going to assume that happened after Heracles got him out of Hades, where a vulture pecked out his liver every day and it grew back, and he was tortured horribly for helping humans, basically. See, the gods really hate humans, Zeus and his guys, because on the one hand, like I said, they took out Kronos, but then again, that's another real book he wrote, but then again, who knows? Because they're clearly bad guys because what they did to Prometheus. You see, they became the oppressors themselves. It's inevitably going to happen that those who form their own hierarchy will become the oppressors, which is why you gotta eliminate the hierarchy altogether. At least that's the thinking of somebody like Bakunin. And I think he has a point. I guess the main thing is I just don't have the same faith that people are going to be able to, say, organize themselves in peaceful communes that guys like Kropotkin and Bakunin did. See, I can talk a bit of socialism, huh? Huh? Yeah, darn right I can. Invisible April, man! A very cloning mishap. Peculiar. My god. Okay, that's another... Wait, we already saw that book, too! Where... I think that's a real book. Lord Dunsany was a real... Dunsany, was a real writer, and he wrote, dream stuff. Big influence on, Lovecraft, although... Judging by Lovecraft's imitations of his prose, I'd say I probably would hate his writing. They say that Lovecraft's most dreamy story is, gosh, I think it's called, the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath? I found it, unreadable. It was terrible. But, I think it might be the one that was one of his most based on, Dunsany. Not that I blame the idea of dreamy writing, as bad. I love dreams. I think they're very interesting. It's odd that this place is called the Land of Dreams, though. Because why would you call your land the Land of Dreams? What does that mean? Do they mean it's a place where you can come and your dreams will come true? Not all my dreams are things I want to come true. I think I've seen hell in my dreams. I don't want that to come true. Hell is a pretty unpleasant place. It was pretty scary. Or I'm hunted by, like, demons sometimes in my dreams. I don't want that to come true. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know. Demons don't exist. But, like, well, maybe they do on this timeline. I don't know. It is the land of dreams. I wonder if I myself exist on this timeline. If I looked around and went abroad, would I find an old mackerel phone somewhere, you think? I might. You see, this is a joke here, is that The Way of All Flesh is a classic book, but here it's a collected cannibals edition, with the idea being that the way of all flesh is because they're like cannibals eating the flesh. You know, those 3 blue books look so much alike, I'm surprised they're not part of a single set or something. Gnomian Chance. Wonder if gnomes would like granola. Or is that dwarves? It's dwarves who like granola, I think. Anyway, so we're about to see a red book. Communist? Illustrated Guide to the Fungal Poets of Billion Toad City, so no. So there are some sentient, at least my impression is there are a lot of sentient fungi in this world. In our own timeline, the one where old mackerel phones and you live, you see, there is actually not intelligent fungi, but they have done some experiments. Like, I think they put a slime mold into a maze or something, and it was able to navigate the most efficient route. Or like they got a slime mold to like grow into the shape of like the Tokyo subway system or something. In order to, I forget, the point being that it was somehow solve the maze in the most efficient way possible. So, I guess that's not intelligence exactly, but slime molds have, they're more talented than people give them credit for. Now, I don't know if those fungal poets were slime molds. In fact, maybe I'm completely misunderstanding. It could be that the fungal poets aren't fungus, but they're writing poems about fungus. Nobody expects the sudden occurrence of meaning in a bleak and purposeless universe. A love story likely to annoy nihilists by Allison and Rob Blocker. That sounds like a pretty great book. I really like that title. More on ya, Blocker. Ahab, or The Man by Moby Dick, with an introduction on teaching whales how to write by Shane T. Snell, author of Teaching Crickets to Pasteurize. I remember once in a science class we did something with crickets and my group killed all of the crickets. I was horrified and had refused to participate on ethical grounds, but that really is meaningless because, like, it doesn't matter, you know? Because, well, you know, they do all sorts of evil things in science classrooms because kids are remorseless sociopaths. I still deeply regret that I let those damn idiots I was in school with starve that frog to death. Well, they'll all be in hell someday. So, I guess it's about time I talk to the frog. Wait, what am I saying? I mean the owl, which would probably eat frogs. No, her name is Sophia, not Athena. Wait, Sophia! Somebody mentioned you! Yeah, there was something we were supposed to ask you about. What was it? Well, I'm sure that the, Biotalkatron will remember, so tell us about yourself, Sophie. I shouldn't call you that. You know, we're not that familiar. I am the librarian. I will defend this library and what it represents with my life. That is all. The library has stood in Aftonia, in one form or another, since the city was founded. Our ancestors believed that without knowledge, no civilization can survive in the long term. Our current leadership does not share that sentiment, and recently tried to have the library shut down. The state of disorder you see around you is what happens when a half-man, half-horse, all buffoon tries to convince me to leave and surrender the books I am sworn to guard to the fire. He won't be trying again. You fought off that centaur! More power to you, Sophia. Books are the most important invention in the history of the world. Books are gates to other worlds, documents of the past. They are enlightenment caught in ink, memories set down on paper. They let us remember the past, understand the present, and create the future. It is by how it treats books that we may judge a civilization. Does it offer them freely, so wisdom and knowledge may spread? Does it hide them away? Does it ignore them? Does it allow some, but not others? Does it burn them? Well, I think I know what you'll think of Cranion. Before the elections, Mayor Cranion actually promised he would bring an end to austerity. He accused his predecessor, Mayor Necrocefeli, of corruption and fraud. He said he would negotiate with Lord Urizen and bring about a new era of justice and equality. But then, just after the elections, he said he had consulted the Oracle, and much as it pained him, austerity had to continue. There was no alternative. Anyway, so I need some help. Mayor Cranion claims that his catastrophic policies are based on the advice of the Oracle. I have my doubts about that, and I'd like you to find out whether he's telling you the truth. Or whether he is telling the truth in general, not you specifically, not us. The Isle of the Oracle, the ancient texts say, is very hard to reach, since no one can sail there who has not first found it through the path of the Logos. To find the path of the Logos, they say, you must drink the potion of change, then stand between the pillars of an ancient gate and walk into eternity. I do not know precisely what that means, and the book that contained the information was accidentally lost by Mayor Cranion, but perhaps you can convince him to tell you something about the potion. So Cranion is probably making up this stuff about the Oracle. Callista, also called the Isle of the Earth, was an island to the east of here. A few decades ago, it was destroyed by a volcanic explosion, which also resulted in massive waves that caused terrible devastation in all the coastal communities. It is another factor contributing to the current poverty of these islands. This is not what a library is supposed to look like. I'm very sorry, but that buffoon of a guard did a lot of damage before I could kick him out. People with no respect for books are frightening. You're right. As they say, where they burn books, they shall soon burn people. It was a German poet who wrote that, I think. I wish I had better news. I wish I could say this law or that law would prevent the from losing his family's home. And these laws do exist, but the bitter truth is that they mean nothing. Property is protected only when it is the property of the mighty. The law only applies when it is convenient. In fact, the agreements with Lord Urizen themselves contradict the fundamental principles of our laws. But as you can see, that amounts to very little. The law is in the hands of those who already own the most, and if they want Underhome, they will take it. Great. I mean, I could have guessed that, but... Careful, it's hot! Do you enjoy the smell of scorched nose? The mouse runs away, its tail slightly on fire. See ya, mouse! That's for doubting me, for never supporting me, you jerk!